So hi everyone,
Hello.
welcome to the 4th edition of the podcast. I'm with here my invite M4D-BOX.
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
Alright, so we're gonna run through some questions. So I'll ask my question first, and then we'll run the questions of the community.
Yes, sir.
So the first question was, when was your first musical experience, and what did you remember about it?
High School Musical. When it comes to EDM, or
Yeah, just in general, like what's the first thing that like made you like do music, or what's your first interest? Like, how did you gain interest in music, basically?
I think I know that my dad was playing guitar when I was younger, and I never really got to know him. But I always had like an obsession with piano for whatever reason. Like I remember my mom getting me like a toy, like a piano toy, and I was like,
Fisher Price?
kind of, yeah. But when it comes to music, like if I say like EDM, I would say like Knife Party was like the biggest, like the big thing that got me into like EDM in general. It's like Dead Mouse and yeah, Knife Party. But and I grew up like listening to a bunch of like different genre because of my mom.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So basically, your mom and your dad were the person that introduced you to music.
Yeah.
Okay. So something that I wanted to ask is like, what in terms of like your whole I don't want to say brand, but your whole project, what does M4D-BOX embodies? Like, what's the spirit of M4D-BOX? What it is,
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I'd say mental health mostly. It's weird, but let's say like like taking care of yourself when it comes to like mentally, because music is like my way of like expressing how I feel. But M4D-BOX as a whole, I would say like mental health, trying to push the boundaries, trying to be unique, stand out in a good way, not be a poser.
Yeah.
Like,
You know any poses?
I'm not gonna name drop, but we know.
Okay.
But just be true, like be yourself. Well, be myself,
Yeah.
and be kind, be unique, trying to push and inspire people
Yeah.
to do better. So yeah, that'd be M4D-BOX in general, I would say.
Alright. So, yeah, I guess so. My next question. What keeps you going? Like, is there something that makes you wanna like pursue your career, or is there any motivation?
I'd say my biggest motivation would be the being aware and conscious about the fact that we all gonna end up like 6 foot deep. It's super deep saying that, but like knowing that it's temporary, that's the thing that keeps me going. Because I don't know, I saw like so many people from like an older generation just regretting not doing what they always wanted to do. And I think like pursuing my dream is like my biggest like go-to in life in general.
Yeah.
So I feel like the thing that keeps me going like with my music is that trying to like accomplish something not only for myself but also leave a mark or a legacy, if you like.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
people don't forget me through times, and who knows, maybe I'll inspire some people and I'll create like some baby me, which is like one of my biggest dreams.
Yeah. It's gonna happen for sure.
Hey.
And yeah, any long-term goals? Have you thought about it? Have you like?
It's weird. I think about all these things because I don't like expecting too much because I went through a lot of like disappointment in my life when it comes to like wanting to do something, wanting to go somewhere and not being able to. But long term, I'd say maybe play shows, meet a lot of people, travel around the world maybe. Make some good friends like in different countries.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have like you guys, but also you. But like I feel like my main goal is to actually like just gather up like a bunch of people around me.
Yeah.
Because the human connection is far more important than being popular in my head and money and all of these things, you know. So yeah, I would say like a long-term goal is like meet a lot of people, have fun, enjoying making what I'm doing right now, which is like music. But like yeah, I'm performing, organizing maybe like shows, like throw down like events, like all of these things, and maybe like show to people that it's possible to actually like make a living out of this, even though it's not easy. I know that the artist thing is like battling yourself with what people think when it comes to like being creative or an artist in general. Like for example, like those people who always like, I don't know, like stomp on you saying like, oh yeah, it's art, you won't be able to like have a lot of money, you might miss out like on so many things in your life because you won't be able to afford it. And it's like, yeah, but at what cost at this point? Like enjoying yourself. I think enjoying myself is far more important than being rich, you know. Because money won't bring me any happiness, and I know for a fact that I used to make a lot of money and it didn't change me that much, you know, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, to make it short, inspire and have fun playing shows. that'd be it.
Alright, so it's gonna be time for the community questions. So let me pick one, just one right now. And I think we went over that kind of question. It's by Subsidy Sucks. So how long?
Ethan, my boy.
Oh boy. So how long have you been producing? And what originally got you into producing?
Yeah, it's kind of going like back to what we were talking about before. But I'd say, what is the question? Wait,
you want to see? Look at the question.
Okay, so I've been producing for a long time. Like I think I started like actually getting into like a DAW, like a FL Studio, for example, when I was like 11.
11? Okay.
Yeah, that was like my first experience with like the actual DAW. But I never got into it really. I was just like, my older brother actually came up to me saying like, hey, you can make sounds in that shit. And it's like, oh, that's cool.
Did you get it from the cereal box or something? Because at some point,
I don't know. I think my older brother got a free version or a full version that is one of his friends actually cracked.
Okay.
But like back in the day, like I'm talking about like maybe like
FL5 or something.
Yeah, like some deep shit, like some like super underground stuff. But like so he got me like, he got this, and then he was like, yo, you can do cool things, nah. And so I started like just like I don't know, it kind of shifted my perspective over sound, because I was like, oh, that's like the house where you're gonna build stuff in, you know? Like because for me, like music was like mostly organic in my head.
Yeah.
But electronic music was like always like obsessing me, because I was like, are people using like, you know, like the big like dead mouse thing, like the wall with like wires and shit?
Yeah.
I thought it was it. Like I thought like Skrillex and all of these people were like using all of these fancy equipment, but no, like it's just a DAW, like and VSTs. But yeah, so FL Studio when I was like maybe 11, but really starting to produce is like maybe back in 2018, because at that time I remember Sudden Death released Behemoth, and Virtual Riot released Purple Dragon VIP. And those two tracks inspired me. Like especially Behemoth was like such a like outside the box track for me. I was like, holy shit, like I want to do that. And so I got into it. I got myself massive before even
Yeah.
getting serum, even though serum was like the hot shit back then.
Yeah.
I was like,
really.
oh yeah, I'm gonna get massive and try to understand it. I took time to actually understand massive before serum, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because visually it's not as appealing.
No,
And
and
it's
there's
not as
no
easy.
visual cues also.
Nope. So yeah, but yeah, I would say that 2018 was the year. And what got me into it is pretty much my older brother, and he's the one who showed me Knife Party, and I'll go back to it, but like Knife Party was a big inspiration. Like that's still like one of my, I think like the reason why I do melodies the way I do it is because of them.
Knife Party.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Alright, so should we continue the walk or
It's up to you.
up to me? Okay. Yeah, let's go. Alright. Next question by Ignistic.wave. What is your creative process in terms of creating patterns for your guns and basses?
I don't have an actual like way of doing it. I'd say I don't know. It depends. Like I'll just play around with sounds mostly. But when it comes to pattern, I go by ear mostly. I don't like going with the grid. Like the grid is cool, snapping to grid, but I feel like it's removing the organic like side of like the tension, because you can build so much tension using like milliseconds in Ableton, for example, or just go offset the grid. And since I'm in FL, like I can drag stuff up like wherever I want and pretty much like go by ear. So that's my process for it. For sound design though, it's really like I use a sound or multiple sounds and I just play with them. I post-process them. So that's about it.
Okay. Well, cool.
Thanks.
Welcome. She's done. Okay.
Ah, attends. Attends-moi la baby.
Alright.
Bye.
Bye. So, next question by Zims. How do you feel about your own music? What do you like the most about it?
I'd say what I like the most about it is the simplicity, because for whatever reason, how simple, like the way I do my track, it's so like I could actually fetch out like my whole project in front of anybody and be like, yeah, that's it. Like that's how I did like all these tracks and all that. And it's funny because most of the time when I show my tracks or my project file, people are like, no, it's impossible. Like you don't only use like 3 or 4 layers. I'm like, yeah, post-processing. I mostly use init patch with like post-processing on it because I don't know, like it sounds cool, and also those sounds are nice. Like like the basic like wave, like the basic waveform, whatever. But how I feel about it, I'd say I'm over criticizing my shit, like everybody, I guess, because I don't have like the third-person view that you or anybody would have. So I'd say like I'm super like I'm super hard on myself, but I also give myself like a lot of like space to breathe, because I don't know, over like the grind when it comes to like making music, I feel like having moments where you don't produce is like super important, because I like as a guy who makes like music for like 15 hours a day or whatever, like I'm just a crackhead, but when it comes to that, like I feel like taking a pause super important. But my view personally, I would say I love myself, I love my shit, of course, but I'm nowhere near where I would like or I'd love to be. Machinix is a good example of a guy that I inspired, and I came to find out that I actually inspired that guy. And for me, that guy is like so good. Like it's crazy how I didn't feel like I always got obsessed with his music.
Do you want to go near the water maybe?
Yeah. I never I always got obsessed with like Machinix, for example, but I never knew that he was actually inspired a little bit by me, and it actually flatters me like in a way where I was like, oh my god, I wish I was that guy, you know? And it's crazy to think that I'm obsessing over a guy that got inspired by me. Like, it's so weird. It's like, it's cool. It'd be a flex if I had like a bad ego, but it's not a flex. I would say like it's just, I don't know. I'm super like baffled in a good way. Like it touches me. Like I'm just like wow. But yeah, that's about it. I see myself as a good producer, but not as good as I wish I was. I would be, or I could be. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right. So this is the next question by Isolate Steven. So I guess we talked about goals, right?
What?
Future goals.
Yeah.
So maybe you were looking up to Knife Party, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of Knife Party, a lot of like deadmau5, Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Those artists were like some of the biggest inspiration I've had.
Okay. So I guess who was the first friend you made in the scene?
Ooh.
Who was the first friend you made in the scene?
I don't know.
No.
I've like that's weird because friends for me it's like with long terms. You know what I mean? Like I know a lot of people in the scene for a long like since like I discovered like Discord for example.
Yeah.
But I'd say like oh my god. I can't say. Like there's so many people that I know that I used to hang out a little with, but our path just like kind of like you know we went different paths.
Yeah.
But
that happens.
Friends. Steven is a good one. I'd say Steven is like, dude, that guy. Like it's crazy how me and him's been like we've been like obsessing over each other's. But also cranking each other's just to get better than the other one in a good way, like in a super healthy way, where it's like, oh, he surpassed me with that track, I'll do something better, just to be cool, like friendly, just to be better and shit. Yeah, like
friendly competition.
Exactly. So like, yeah, I'd say like Steven is a I met Steven on Discord at some point, and it's funny because at first me and him were just like, we just like went across and we were like, hey, what's up, man, and that's it. But at some point, like he came back, like he kept like coming back, and we kept like talking, and Muteki, you know, all these things happened, and it's crazy because as far as I love him, he shares the same interest and the same love with me, and it's like it's a super good thing. I feel like most of the people, like for example, you and me and him, me and Noah, like Ignistic. Like a bunch of people, like especially like in the crew and all that, like Emil is another one.
Yeah.
Like most of the people I met are super nice. So yeah, but for the question, I'd say like yeah, Steven is, I think the guy.
The first.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe another question from Steven. Why did you choose your name of project?
Okay.
And I guess it's a quick one, so...
yeah, well... yes, but no. So, my name... Dude. Okay, so the mad comes from the fact that when I was in high school, my resting bitch face, I was looking like this. Like, I was like looking mad. Like super like neutral and shit. Like, you know, like bitch face and all that. So people were always coming to me saying like, oh, are you mad? Like,
are you
good?
mad?
And I was like, yeah, like I'm good. And so the mad comes from there. The box is, and that's where like everything starts to like entangle with everything. Like it's weird. But the 4 is my date of birth, which is like the 4th of June. June is 6. A box is spaces.
Oh.
The letters is 6. Mad box. So the 4th of June is my date of birth. The numbers of like the 4 in my name, but also the numbers of letters. So, and also the box refers to being put in a confined space, like you know, like being put as like, oh yeah, don't do that, like you shouldn't be like doing all these things, and like because I remember back in the day before I even like met Steven, people were stomping on me for making what I've been making, and I'm still making the same. Like people were always like saying like, oh yeah, you should do like more VR type of shit or Buried Alive or Infect, and back in the day I didn't like Infect, weird enough. Like I was more into dubstep and bro step, but it's weird because the box comes from that place where people were just like pushing me aside and be like, oh yeah, you're not that cool. Like it's just weird. So,
okay.
Yeah, and now I think outside the box. Yay!
So I guess I have multiple questions, but I feel like I'm gonna pick some because. Alright, so Ud's music is asking like, what would be your dream collab? Don't say Skrillex.
Oh, dream collab?
Don't say Skrillex.
Dream collab. Okay, so I'll send that to the universe or whatever.
Okay. Don't say Knife Party.
No, Infect of course, but not in a way where for the sake of making a show with Infect. It's more like I would love to know Christian personally and get to know the guy and understand like his creative process. But yeah, Infect would be a good one. But when it comes to my dream collab, Automate. Oh, dude, Automate. Yes, because Automate is dude. If you see that, then maybe you might see that. But you're the reason why I make music. When it comes to like the why I do it. Automate is a good inspiration. Like I got inspired so much by that guy. Like the 1/8 flow by Noir or whatever how you pronounce it. But yeah, Earthbox would be another one. Earthbox, Automate, Infect, Mechanics. We were supposed to work with together, so maybe in the future. But yeah, and the other one is like more my homies, like you, Steven, all these people.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes, one day.
One day.
Of course.
Not today. So, another question by Ud's Music. I guess it would be, what's your favorite plugin?
Ooh, Dimension Expander.
Dimension Expander?
It's free. Yes, I'm serious. So, Dimension Expander, it's dumb, but Dimension Expander and the Kilohertz, I would say, okay, so Kilohertz plugins. Kilohertz, the bundle, is the thing that every producer in that scene should have because they have such a good bundle and all of them sound super good. If you know how to use them, it's super good. And it's cheap. So Kilohertz, I would say, would be like the big bundle you should get. But when it comes to like my personal favorite, just because he has Dimension Expander adds so much sprinkle over your music, everything becomes like, if you use it in a good way, your sound's gonna sound like more bright, but also the dynamic's gonna be better.
Okay.
So you're gonna come from like, you think you have something wide, which is still gonna be like sounding kind of mono. But then if you put like the Dimension Expander on it and then you set it like to the perfect settings, it just perfectly balances the stereo and the dynamic.
Okay.
Which is like the reason why I crave that shit. Like Dimension Expander, don't sleep on that. And the Kilohertz bundle.
Okay, alright. So, I don't know if Derange, did Derange send a question? Or?
I don't think so.
I didn't do. Okay, alright. So I guess we're pretty much done with the interview. So thanks for being part of the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I guess we see you next time in another something.
Yes, sir. But yeah, you guys should look up his stuff, but also Muteki, all the things.
Okay, so I'll make sure I put this down in the description.
Yeah.
And if you want to see more of these interviews, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. Yeah.
Stay tuned, boys.
Bye.
Peace. C'était salé, mon gars. Ouh là 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 là.